Okay, hello and welcome back to the video. Well, to the series, shall I say. And today we're going to be having a little wander around Fort Hope. Yes.
The statue must be 1,000 years old. Wonder how much longer it'll last.
Sorry, not Fort Hope, Fort Joy. So, last time we woke up on this island, which is about the beach to Fort Joy. There's some ruins around and everything. And over here is a little boy.
Let's
go say hello.
A small mirror in his hands. He holds it up at angles, inspecting his eyes, his chin, the crown of his head. He spots you, and his arms snap to his sides.
I'm not supposed to talk to elves. Will elves eat people and their pets? Elves don't know the alphabet. Are you a sorcerer?
The child looks at you straight on.
I don't see any source on you or me. I guess they're wrong. Or crazy. Maybe you're right. At least they don't mind where anyone goes. They know we can't leave the island, and it's a lot nicer out here than outside. They're gone now. The Magisters took them already. I guess now they're cured. And maybe they're waiting for me back at home. But you didn't die. Guess I am. But it's just normal to be scared. Nowhere isn't scary. There isn't anywhere safer. That's what I mean. You'll see.
Yeah. So that kind of gives you an idea of what kind of things are going on the island. Now, before I go anywhere, actually, there's some things we can loot. Well, normally there is anyway. RNG on this when it comes to looting can be a nightmare. Unless you've got, like I say, Lucky Find, which does, again, it's RNG, but it's worth it just for the extra bits.
Voidwoken! Those are the same beasts that sank our ship. Damn, they've made it to shore.
Yep, and here they are again. Sean made short work of them. Now, if you attack from stealth, there we go. If you attack from stealth, you do get a damage bonus. I think it's 1.5 or 2 times multiplier. That is one thing that really me and Lewis don't do when we play this game, and that is something I'm going to have to speak to him about after I've done this recording. We should actually start looking at using stealth. But for now, let's deal with these lot. Now the staff is actually a melee weapon, but it does come with a ranged weapon. So I will be taking some warfare as we go through. But taking the necromancy does help me. There we go, as you can see. Taking necromancy is good for me. As it allows me to regenerate health as I do damage. There we go.
I thought these bloody collars were supposed to keep those things at bay.
So how it works is per level. I've got to remember this isn't the same. So that's how you sneak. Very Metal Gear Solid like. Some of them are so funny you can get like a barrel, or if you can even get crates. But they are quite hilarious. Right, so the way it works is, if I can find the skill. So it's for every level it's 10% up to 100% healing. So for instance, you do, if you've got level 10 and you do, no, that's actually a bad idea. Say you've got level 5 and you do 50% damage, 50 points of damage, you will get 25 points of health back. Just as a general idea. But that's the basic gist of it. Like I say, there are some summoning skills. There's Raise Bloated Corpse, Raise Bone Widow, which is again one of my mates, one that my mate does like. Let's go
Drowned
over here.
and eaten by a void woken. I wonder in which order.
Now, if I remember, you always pick up a resurrection scroll off this body. And when you are playing with either AI companions or other players, when you have little sections like this, you can get like the option to speak to each other. There's another one later on, which I will show you then. And I believe you get it, because I'm still trying to work out who I'm going to take, and I've got a general idea who I'm taking. Got to pick one up now. Oh, no, don't click there. So we'll go up here. This is the DLC Little Companion. Now, I haven't got pet pal, so it's literally just speaking gibberish to me. So, this is going to be our first companion who we spoke to last time, which is the Red Prince.
Lizard, gazing over the water with a steady, malcontent stare. His skin is of a bright, blood-red colour. Could he be... Yes, you recognize him from the ship. It would seem you're not the only one who survived the tentacles of the deep. The lizard turns about with the graceful ease of a dancer, or a duelist. You lock eyes with his, two smouldering embers that sizzle your very soul.
I did survive, yes. And chances are I wouldn't have had you not returned to the aid of your fellow passengers down in that dreadful hole. You have my gratitude.
Hand over heart, he salutes you with a bob of the head. More than a nod, though less than a bow.
Yes, I'm sure you've all the makings of a hero and all that, but let's not get carried away, shall we? Nevertheless, one good turn does deserve another, so as far as the whole slave business is concerned, let's just forget about it. You may as well have your freedom.
Again, some of the dialogue in this game is quite fun. Pardon me.
Now then, if there's nothing further, I'm sure I don't mean to sound condescending, but I had thought it quite self-evident I was gazing out over the waves.
He sighs dramatically.
Tell me, what do you see when you cast your glance over this ocean? Touché.
He looks out over the water once more, and so do you. A few tranquil moments pass as the waves lap against your thoughts.
As for myself, when I consider this vast expanse before us, I see an empire. I see continents dotted with mighty cities. And shimmering along the soft curve of the sea's horizon, I picture the palaces that formed my paradise. Lost. Yes, but these weren't castles in the sky, were they? Quite obviously, I was musing over the very actual empire that I lost.
Suddenly, having all the air of being deeply offended, he stares at you with utter incredulity.
Well, don't just stand there gawking like an ape at an abacus. Or do you really mean to tell me you don't know who I am? The very same. I am the Red Prince, the All-Conqueror, the World-Tamer, the Spouse of the Sun.
Quite the list.
Of course you know me.
There's a brief moment's pause, during which his grandiloquent pose deflates ever so slightly.
That said, I suppose I must own up to the fact that I find myself rather in between all-conquering and world-taming opportunities at the moment. Grandeur that is my fate has Never you worry. For the throne I was destined, and my throne I shall have.
Right.
Truly. A kind offer indeed. And you've already proven to be trustworthy enough. You came back for the others on that ship after all. Fine, I accept. On one condition.
There's always one.
For reasons I'll not disclose right now, it is imperative that I should meet with a dreamer, one of the mystics of my kind. I've reason to believe one of them may be present on this island. Promise me we'll look for him, and I'll extend you the blessing of my company. Jolly good. So, now that that's settled, first things first. Even if you are as versed in the art of eloquence as I am, that our swords will be doing a lot of the talking from here on out goes without saying. As a born fighter, I prefer the perfection of the blade myself. But I'm well acquainted with the secrets of magic, and yes, even subterfuge. What say you?
So, the basic concept here is when you get a new companion, you can choose what class they will start with. And you can't really customize it from the get-go, but when you level up, you can do what you want with it from there. And all the classes are open to all the characters. There's no, like in some games, only certain characters can use certain classes and so on and so forth. It's not like that in this. You can take whatever class you want to. I mean, if you wanted to take a whole team of mages all using different elements, you can. Or if you wanted to just go pure tank, then again, it's possible. But you do need to try and get that balance with your team sometimes. Like, the way the enemy composition is and everything, it's good to have a varied combination of melee and, well, not melee, physical and magical damage, as well as your buffing. Taking polymorph as well is a good idea, because a lot of their skills in that tree is quite good. I think I might actually keep him as a fighter. Yeah, I'm going to keep him as a fighter. Because his ability to breathe fire, I'm sure he's still got that ability, means that up close he's got that little extra bit. I do usually take lizard tanks myself when I do play as a lizard. I do like using lizard tanks, but I also like using lizard mages as well. Don't really use much of a like a lizard finesse build unless I'm going for an archer, but again, that's just my choice on the matter more than anything.
The Red Prince nods and gives you a smile that wavers ever so delicately between courtesy and contempt.
Now, as you're aware, you'll be travelling with a prince. Proper forms of address include Your Majesty, Your Royal Highness, or if you're feeling particularly frivolous, Milord. As your luck would have it, I seem to be fresh out of luggage, so you won't be required to carry my belongings.
Oh joy.
Of course, there are other forms of protocol to bear in mind, but I'll see to it you'll pick up the rest as we go. So, without further ado, let us be off.
And there is our first party member. Now, what that explains there is you can actually lock a companion to you. So if, for instance, I can't remember if it does it with stealth. No, they do stay still. But if, like, you want to move into a position, like you want to teleport or use one of your movement skills that gets you to a higher position, but you don't want the companion following you, you can unlock it like that. It's generally what's meant to happen. There we go. Is he will now not follow us. He's still controllable, so I can select him and do that. and he'll move around. But for the whole of it,
World of wisdom in my homeland. How fortuitous.
oh, okay, I've never heard that thing before. Protecting the black cat is a good idea, as you will get experience for it surviving. Also, a thing that I forgot about lizards I've just remembered. You do not need to have a shovel when you're digging, because you can get a shovel to dig up treasures in this. A lizard doesn't need one, they'll just dig you up with their claws, as I'll show you now. As there is something over here. There we are. Right, I don't have the wits at the moment to uncover this, unfortunately, but your wits, like I said before, help you uncover buried treasure and so on and so forth. Not always a good thing. There we go, there's an example. Now, we don't have, like I say, a shovel, but the Red Prince,
One must put in due effort if one is to reap the proper reward.
there we go, and that will get us some armour. Now the Red Prince can have that for the moment, because like, I'll be focusing on being a mage. I might swap out for some finesse stuff as we go along as well. Yeah, so basically what it's saying is through there are some walk, like a, let's double click here. Now I've locked the camera back on us. Through there is some vines that we can go through. Now we won't be getting all the companions in this so far. Here we are. There's the second one that's possible, which is the Skeleton Fane. We'll just be leaving him alone, to be perfectly honest with you. We won't be taking Fane, as I said earlier. Right, in the previous video. Now, what you can do is, if you've got the strength, and this is a good thing to do when you're playing as an undead character, is you can pick up ooze barrels. And what you can do with them is you can fill empty bottles with potions. So, and poisons, shall I say, which can be used for all sorts of things. Right, so that's a extra chest piece. There we go, there's a level up. Let's talk to you.
Hear a small whimpering sound from behind a basket. You peer behind it and find a small human child holding her knees and trembling. The child quiets and seems comforted by your presence. She looks up at you with curious eyes. The child nods and reaches up to you. As you hold her, her breathing grows slow and calm. Her wet face is damp on your neck. She lets go and looks up at you with a small smile.
Thanks. You're nice. You can have this. I found it outside, but I can't read it yet. That's next year, and then I'll learn it.
She nestles back into her spot on the ground and starts tracing figures. A little family in front of a house in the dirt.
There we go. Right, so as you saw, once I got to the top of the vines, I've leveled up. So let's just quickly show you how it works on it. Now, Lewis did actually explain in the comments section on, I believe it was the introduction that I'd done to the classes and everything, how your traits and civics work, or civils. I've got to stop calling them civics. So for her, I'm actually going to take that and that, because I don't really need the memory at the moment. I haven't got a full like roster of spells that I can use. Now next, I'm actually going to go down Warfare and just get that 1 point that I need. And then level 2 is when you get your civil. And I'm going to put another point into Lawmaster. There we go. Now, as for the Red Prince, I want to focus on his constitution and strength. Right. We're actually going to go for Geomancer for the moment. And then buff some of the warfare of the next 2-3 levels. I'm actually going to take him down the persuasion route. Right, there we go. So that's all set up. Where are you, Red Prince? Ah, yes. Again, there is a issue with the pathing on that section where the cat and the squirrel riding the undead cat can actually stop you from climbing up the vines. It can stop your companions from climbing up. So sometimes you have to swap and force them to climb up yourself. It's a bit of an annoyance, but it's one of them. So we're going to get this fight out of the way that I'm coming up to now. And then I'm thinking for the next set of episodes, I might actually do them in hour durations. Because due to the amount of dialogue that comes in this game, it takes up a big portion of the video. So unless people want me to skip the actual dialogue and move straight on with the action, which I'm happy to do, otherwise I will prolong the episode lengths. I'll still keep the time splitters and that to roughly 20 to 30 minutes, but for Divinity and any other RPGs that are heavily dialogue influenced, I will look at maybe 45 minutes to an hour. Right, but for now let's focus on killing these. Now none of these have magic armor, so I can just focus on blasting them. Right, so it's end my turn because there's not really much I can do here. Right. Now, the warriors, like I say, they have some interesting skill sets. Bouncing shield is basically your Captain America. You know, let me clear this oil. You know, you throw your shield, it bounces and hits all the targets. Battle Stomp, which I will be getting for my mage as well. What that does is it will knock down an enemy. Now, with physical armor, physical weapons, you need to get it so that. Let's see if I can hit him. Yep, let's take him out. With physical weapons, it will only knock them down if they've got no physical armor. But when using a staff, you need to knock down their magical armor, otherwise it won't knock them down. Right. Now I want to focus on taking the big turtle down because he is actually more of a threat. Now I'm using the wrong type of staff for this fight, but I didn't really have anything else. I mean, he's dead from burning anyway, so that's all good. But what I will do is, for the moment, focus on buffing both of us up. Now, yeah, I was trying to avoid that. There must have been a tiny bit in the circle. But yeah, that's what I mean. That gives the Red Prince that little extra bit of versatility when it comes to. Let's just give you a good smack. yeah, it gives the Red Prince that little extra bit of versatility when it comes to enemies if they're not in his range. You can just set them on fire, or if an enemy steps into an oil or poison. Excellent. An oil or poisons like, pick all them up. Hazard, he can set it on fire. You don't need to worry about using like fire bombs or fire spells. And all I'm gonna do
Seawater by the looks of him.
is I'm going to loot around here, and then I'm gonna call it again.
Escaped by sea in these waters.
Right. Now this you need lock picking for. Now I'm going to take Beast down the thief route. Because with his Dwarven Guile, his ability to sneak in that, it's a good idea. And I've just got to try and get this area.
I need to dig here.
Oh, yes, Red Prince. I haven't actually gone and picked up the shovel, which is nearby.
Manual labour, if circumstances require.
There we go. Right, one thing about this game as well that I will say is you can actually kill people by crushing them with things. Now I haven't got telekinesis on this character. Let's script that onto you. But you can actually throw, for instance, you can throw a this chest as a weapon. You can also use gloves, like, well, not gloves per se. There's a pair of gloves you get later on in this island, not far into the island itself, that allow you to teleport stuff like items and people. And what you can do as a weapon is, if you can't or don't want to teleport an enemy, you can teleport a heavy item onto an enemy and crush them for damage. And the way the damage is calculated is by how much is in the actual container that you, or the actual weight of the item you drop on someone. So if you've got a container that weighs, so let's have a look at the weight here. So my weight here is 22. So if you've got a container, full container that weighs about 100 points, it calculates it based off that. I'm not 100% sure on the calculation because I've never really tested it myself. Like, I've used it, but I've never worked it out. But yeah, it's another way of dealing with it's another way of dealing with an enemy if you can't do any direct damage to them one way or another. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, I will be returning here, but I'll do that off camera during the next episode to unlock that chest. And I will show you, once I've unlocked it, what's inside it and everything. I will just cut out all the lead work. But apart from that, that's about it for this. Oh, actually, what I will quickly do before I go, I'll show you that fight that I tried to force. Right, let's quickly show you the there we go. That's your bedroll. Now I've got it set as 0 on the thing, so I'll just be quick pressing it. But yeah, and this is what I want to show. Something I do want to show as well.
I spotted something.
There we go, we can do it now. So I'm actually going to there we go. Right, I actually want to put myself at a bit of a distance for the moment.
Even the most noble among us must occasionally dirty their claws.
There we go. Now, zombies, the undead, and quite a few, pardon me, enemies will bleed a different type of... They won't bleed blood. There are enemies that will bleed fire. There's enemies that will bleed poison, like this zombie here. Now, because my initiative's higher, because I've got a slightly higher wit, I I'll start first. So what I'm going to do, as you can see, poison. So I'm going to use that to my advantage. Set him on fire. Now, like I said before, flesh sacrifice isn't something I really use. I know Lewis liked to use it a lot when he was doing his elf rogue, because it's extremely useful for that. You can actually get quite a lot of use out of it. But for me, it's not a massive thing. I mean, I'll use it now just so I can get that extra turn, extra AP. Where's it? 3 AP? There we go. I hadn't selected it. And just kill it straight off like that. That's the good thing about that ability. But I don't use it as often as I should. And that is something I will admit to. Right. But that's it for this episode. Sorry that there's been so much dialogue and not as much action as I would like. But unfortunately, this game is very dialogue heavy sometimes. I mean, there's parts where you could be in the dialogue for about 3-4 minutes. I mean, we're not going on the length of Metal Gear Solid 4, where it's mostly a movie, which I'm not complaining about, but there is a lot of dialogue involved in this game. But again, we'll sort that out when we come to it, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Let me just save it. Save, override, yes. But that's it for again this episode, and I'm hoping to see you all soon. Goodbye.